And we'll play from here. I want to give just a brief introduction to our next speaker, because one of the things that I so hope you'll all leave this conference with is to be on fire with creative possibilities. How can you reclaim and honor your own roots? We've just heard how Thomas and how Tatiana have done that through their art. But how can we also reclaim the stories and the images of early Christianity and of Mary Magdalene? And so I wanted to point to something that is another one of those hidden treasures that is very much at the root in the earliest centuries of the Christian tradition. And then I'm going to offer a space for one of our community participants to talk about what they have done. This is an image that is at the Church of St. Gregory of Nyssa's Church in San Francisco. It's a church that is an amazing bridge between worlds. On the one hand, it's in the style of a Redwood, California structure, but it also pays a deep homage to the Orthodox style. It's an Episcopal church. And this is an image that was created over decades called the Dancing Saints. In the center, you will see Jesus. I just invite you to notice that he's in that mandorla, that Vesica Pisces that we've been talking about, that union of the opposites. And if you would, just make that shape again with your hands to look at that, look through the eyes at that image. And in it, one of the titles of Jesus that was popularized again later in the British Isles was the Lord of the Dance. And there are British folk songs that speak to this on Easter. I am the Lord of the Dance, says he, is one of the lines there. And what you see surrounding you, and this is the very room where communion is taken, is all of these paradoxical figures throughout history linking arms together. Down there in the bottom with the saxophone is John Coltrane. There are so many fascinating figures here. My favorites include Albert Einstein and Mahatma Gandhi and Queen Elizabeth I holding arms with Malcolm X, and they're all dancing together. And what this very new image, which was created by an African-American artist, really portrays is this mystical theology of the union of opposites, of everyone coming together to be part of the dance of life. If you read the text, the Gnostic Gospels, by Elaine Pagels, in which she describes early Christian communities. There was this one paragraph that leapt off the page about the middle of the book and just seized me, because she describes some of the earlier alternative liturgies within early Christian churches, in particular one that traced its roots back to John, called the Johannite community. And in this, she described a liturgy that was done for several centuries before the institutionalization of religion. And in this, and you can Google this on the round dance of Jesus, because one of the texts of this liturgy was recovered in Nag Hammadi. And imagine this, if you will. Imagine a scene in which, after the breaking of bread at the Last Supper, after the mandate to love, there's a dance where Jesus gathers his nearest disciples together to sing and to dance. And what he sings, what he offers, is this ecstatic hymn of non-duality. Yesterday, we looked at the I am statements in Thunder Perfect Mind. What floored me was to look at this text in which Jesus himself is offering a whole litany of poetic song and dance in this I am voice. So it begins with this idea, and I'm just going to encourage you to Google it online, or you could also, I've done a whole series of this with the Salome Institute of Depth Psychology called Jung and the Gnostic Gospels. I think that's available for purchase. But it describes this hymn, this ancient hymn of song and exaltation. And he describes then this singing, this dancing, this playing the flute, these two circles going in opposite directions of men and women singing in union. And it's from this place then that there have been some recreations of this early Christian text, this so-called round dance of Jesus. And for those of you who have church communities, actually for anyone, if you don't have a church community, just get your friends, gather a circle of people together. And I just want to encourage you to explore this. And this is something that our next speaker has done. Our next speaker, Amina McMacken, has explored this idea of bringing to life the round dance of Jesus. And I'm going to invite her to say a few introductory words about this before I show you a short video. So to you, Amina, but as you do this, know that what she's trying to do is to go back and recapture something that was present in the earliest centuries and that was lost. So Amina, if you would unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Kayleen. I appreciate this opportunity to share a subject that is very close and dear to my heart. And I've been a dance leader and mentor for the Dances of Universal Peace for over 25 years. And it has evolved into a real ministry of love for me. But I never thought when I began this path that it would lead me to the Aramaic Jesus and Mary. So I'm just going to share a little bit about the history of the dances, and then we'll talk about the round dance. The dances are an international movement for peace. They are simple, meditative, joyous circle dances that use sacred phrases, hymns, prayers, holy names from many of the world's religions and spiritual traditions. They were developed in the late 1960s by an American mystic, Samuel L. Lewis. And I'm just going to hold up a picture here, if you all can see it, although there's a glare. And this captured him as though the light was coming from the heavens, and he's offering what we call barak, or a blessing. And we lovingly call him Murshid Sam. Murshid is an Arabic word that means teacher. And he was himself a student of world religions throughout his life. So he felt that real religion must be practical and express the deep unity that's found behind all traditions. Towards the end of his life, then, he began to develop this form of circle dancing that we continue to dance today, that incorporates awareness of breath, sound, and movement. Since his death in 1971, his students and their students have continued on in this tradition to teach and spread the dances around the world. So it was through the Dances of Universal Peace that I met Neil Douglas Klotz and studied with him for over 20 years now. And during a period when he was offering a leadership program in 2007, I was drawn again to the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the commentary by Jean-Yves Leloup. And that led me to an opening to Mary Magdalene. So I began to receive over the years a cycle of dances from her. And the first dance I received was on Easter Eve, March 22nd in 2008. And then the next day, Easter Sunday, I received the second dance. So now 15 years later, I've published 3 dance booklets and CDs. And in July, we will once again be celebrating Mary's annual feast day, the 15th anniversary of an annual gathering that I have been presenting. And these dances, we gather to dance Mary's cycle in the tradition of the Dances of Universal Peace. So the video we're going to watch was recorded at Mary's feast day last year and is entitled The Round Dance of the Divine Union. And it was inspired by the Gnostic Acts of John. The hymn of Jesus is part of that, in which Jesus invites his disciples to form what he calls a ring, and he stands in the center and talks or sings, and they answer, Amen. So you will hear in this version, my version, called The Round Dance of the Divine Union, that we're combining words of Jesus and words of Mary Magdalene from a collection of her sayings published by Tal Malachi of the Sophian Foundation. So I'm putting in the chat box the words to this dance and also my contact information if you want to know more. So thank you, Kayleen.
I